Hey, how's it going? It's Sean Bradshaw from Cyberfret.com, and in this lesson I'm going to show you a cool jazz 2/5 lick in the key of B flat. Now, more importantly than the lick itself, there's a big idea that I want you to think about as I'm showing you this, because I'm actually going to show you the same lick in 8 different places on the neck. Actually 5 different places and a couple of octaves in a couple of different places. And the idea here is kind of unlike rock licks where you're doing a lot of bending and you can't really take and transpose the licks to lots of different places on the neck. A lot of jazz licks, you can play the exact same set of notes in lots of places on the neck. And that's exactly what you want to try to do. As you're building your vocabulary of different jazz lick ideas, kind of make sure you're playing them in some different positions. And so I'm going to show you this lick, and it's really important to kind of play this in all of these different positions. So first of all, I'm going to start off by kind of playing this in the lowest place on the neck that I can play it, and then kind of work my way up the neck. And I'm also going to be showing you kind of the scale form that this comes out of. There's kind of 5 basic major scale forms that this lick kind of comes out of. And then as you learn other kind of 2/5 licks, in jazz, one of the most common chord progressions is what's referred to as a 2-5-1. And in the key of B flat, that would be a C minor 7, F7, and a B flat major 7. What 2-5-1 means is that if I was playing a B flat major scale, I'm playing chords that are built from the 2nd degree, 5th degree, and the 1st degree of that scale. But that's all the theory I'm going to give you on that for the moment. The idea is that chord progression happens a lot in traditional jazz music, and so when you're first learning how to improvise in a jazz situation, you want to get a handle on playing over that particular set of chords, 2-5-1 in different keys. And so, but this one is one of the most common jazz keys in the key of B flat, so the chords are going to be, again, C minor 7, F7, and B flat major 7. So first we're going to take a look at this lick in this particular scale form. Now, if you've learned some different kind of scale forms, you might think, well, that's a basic G minor scale, and it is. And G minor is also the exact same notes as a B flat major. So this is just the notes of a B flat major scale here in the 3rd position. And that's really kind of the lowest place that you can play without, kind of running out of room down here, playing some open strings. And so what we're going to do now is this particular lick, I'm going to play it here starting on the 3rd string. And I'm going to have the tablature here on the screen, so I'm not really going to talk you through place your finger here. You can kind of see where it is up in the tablature. But I just wanted to take you through all the different places you can play this on the neck. So here's the first place. And that is mostly out of that B flat major scale, with the exception of a little chromatic thing that's happening right there. So and so this lick is really mostly out of just playing over the C minor 7 and the F7. The only note that's for the last chord, that B flat major 7, was this note. And so it's one of those things where you can kind of practice playing the lick and then for 2 measures, kind of just work on doing your own improvising with that B flat major scale in the particular position. So, all right. So that's just an idea. Is that we're playing this 2-5-1 progression that is 1 measure of C minor 7, 1 measure of F7, and 2 measures of a B flat major 7. All right. Now, in this particular scale form, you can also play it right here. And there's a couple things that I'm doing is I'm kind of reaching out of position to play that note on the 6th string at the 7th fret, rather than going like that. I could do it like that, but I like to kind of play this where I'm playing that note on the 6th string at the 7th fret. So. All right, so that's 2 octaves of that lick idea down here in this 3rd position. Now we're going to take our way and move our way up the neck. And kind of the next scale form that we're going to be playing this lick out of is kind of one of the most basic, if you've ever learned a major scale, this is probably one of the first ones you might have learned. And so, first of all, starting off with this lick, we'll do it in the higher octave first. And so I'm going to start it here on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. There, I've got to end up doing a little slide right there on those particular notes, just because it ends up laying a little bit nicer that way, or you can pick both of them. And now the lower octave for this lick. And again, once you kind of play over the C minor 7 and the F7, just fill in with some other notes. I know it's sometimes easier said than done. Just make something up. All right, but the idea is you've got 2 measures of a set lick and 2 measures to just kind of play around within the scale. All right, so that's the 2 octaves that you can play kind of in this 5th position B flat major scale. And working our way up the neck. Next up, we're going to be starting with this kind of next position of the major scale. And this is the kind of the scale forms that I'm using are what are referred to as the cage system. And I'm not going to really talk about, what that means, but there's kind of a couple of different scale systems. One scale system that's very common is 3 note per string, and that's used by a lot of shredders, and it can be used for jazz too, but especially when playing jazz, I like to use this kind of cage system because it works out a lot nicer for arpeggios. And really, I kind of use all of them put together and play all over the neck. But kind of a great way when you're first learning to improvise in jazz is really kind of work on some different positions. I know a lot of people say, well, get out of the box, go all over the neck. And you do want to do that, but get a handle on playing within one particular scale form before you kind of try to break the mold. Get the mold down first, and then work on breaking it. All right, so this next scale form all right, because this particular one ends up having kind of a shift down on a couple of different strings. I'm going to start off the lick where I have to kind of shift a little bit there. So in the higher octave in this position, I'm going to start here with my pinky on the 4th string at the 10th fret. Now if I want to play this in the lower octave, I kind of have to shift down with my first finger like this. What happens is you'll notice that that's really the same fingering as the one we had down here if I would have kind of slid down. All right, so that's it for that particular position. Next up is actually only going to be one octave that we can do in this particular form, but this one is going to be starting at the 10th fret, the scale form. My lick's going to start on the 4th string here at the 10th fret. And one more position, working our way up the neck, and this one is going to start on my 13th fret on the 6th string. Here's actually my B flat note for that B flat major scale, and this one is going to start here on the 15th fret of the 5th string. All right, so again, we got kind of 8 different versions of exactly the same lick, and in jazz you kind of have a little bit more of that freedom because you don't have, unlike in rock or blues where you've got different bends and you can't do the exact same lick in lots of different positions. A jazz lick you can. And so it's important to kind of start to build up your vocabulary of ideas like that. And what I want you to think about doing is, as you learn new licks in this jazz style, try to at least play them in a couple different positions, if not take them through all those different positions like we did this lick. All right, be sure to play along with the jam tracks. There's a couple of different speeds here you can play along with, and I have the key of B flat, which this lick is in. But also, besides, once you've got this in the key of B flat, be sure to start to take this and transpose it into some other keys as well. All right, have a good one.